when a vicious werewolf is on the prowl for inexperienced prey. A teen is compelled to relinquish his purity just to be out of harm's way. One evening, in a tent, Agna expresses her boredom, thinking that they should have proceeded with their plan of meeting a group of guys for dinner. Barrett insists that it is not a good idea, claiming that most of the guys are not worth it. Abruptly, Agna switches the topic by asking her to fetch some water since they are running out of it. Shortly after, Agna hears strange rustling noises outside. Driven by curiosity, she goes out to investigate, but her heart sinks when she discovers the severed foot of her friend hanging by a tree. Suddenly, a deep growl echoes behind her, prompting her to turn around. She quickly sprints away as a monstrous creature charges toward her. Meanwhile, at a fish bar, a group of friends, Jamie, Bruno, Spike, and Kevin, is disappointed after their supposed dates don't show up. It turns out that they are the people that Barrett and Agna were supposed to meet that evening. The next day, the group arrives at the party to compensate for the missed opportunity of meeting women. Feeling excited at the sight of them, Bruno, Spike, and Kevin start to hype around in an attempt to seek attention. Unfortunately for them, the girls are uninterested, only making them appear pathetic. On the other hand, Jamie, embarrassed at the sight of his friends, proceeds to enjoy the party on his own, but Alicia approaches him. She confesses that she's interested in betting him, but Jamie doesn't feel the same way. Saved by the knock on the door, Jamie quickly checks on the visitor, who turns out to be Sergeant Rooney and Officer Gilkes. The sergeant reprimands Jamie for the noise, so he orders him to tone it down as it bothers the neighborhood. Later that night, Juliana, an attractive woman, approaches Jamie and Bruno to ask for directions to the garden. She forms an instant connection with Jamie, and she reveals that she's currently in town because she works as an American blogger who writes travel articles. Glancing at the door behind Jamie, Juliana notices the full moon, so she swiftly excuses herself, reasoning that she needs to check on her parents through the phone. Before leaving, she orders Jamie to prepare them a drink in the meantime, which he obliges. Outside, Gary is searching for his partner Fiona by the woods when a werewolf suddenly lunges at him. Jamie catches a glimpse of the beast but brushes it off as he's too preoccupied with Juliana, who has vanished from the party. Saddened by Juliana's sudden departure, Jamie returns home and quickly searches her blog to contact her. The following day, Jamie unexpectedly meets Juliana at the hotel he manages in his mother's stead. She informs him that she left the party without notice due to her work, but would love to have Jamie give her a tour around town later in the afternoon. Their conversation is cut short when Sid, a strange guest dressed in hunter clothing, is staring intensely through the door. When Jamie approaches him, he advises him to stay away from Juliana, confusing him. That afternoon, Jamie and Juliana explore the area, and she enjoys seeing the small yet lively town. They then stop at a cafe to chat, but are interrupted when Spike and Kevin appear, teasing him about finally finding a woman to be intimate with. Eventually, the pair sits by a bench overlooking the Barnum Woods and Lookout Hill to enjoy private time together. As they are about to kiss, a police car stops in front of them. Officer Gilkes approaches and interrogates them about the disappearance of the two teens, particularly Gary. Sergeant Rooney recognizes Jamie from the party and orders him to disrobe to investigate if he's possessing forbidden substances. Although hesitant and embarrassed to be exposed in front of Juliana, Jamie complies. Luckily, just before he removes his last article of clothing, Officer Gilkes summons Sergeant Rooney over to handle a report. Immediately after the police leave, Juliana separates from Jamie and heads straight to the woods. In the evening, Jamie knocks on Juliana's room at their hotel, hoping to check on her. To his surprise, Sid appears instead and reveals that Juliana has already checked out. Jamie wonders why he's in her room, and the man simply reasons that he wants an ensuite bath. Instantly, Jamie heads to his room to send an email to Juliana's blog to express his concerns. With his crush's abrupt absence, Jamie returns to his mundane life of hotel management and constant flirtation with Caroline, one of their guests. Just then, Juliana contacts him, explaining that she has to leave due to her job. However, she sends him her new address, which excites him to visit her. Not long after, Jamie arrives in a cabin in the middle of the woods. As he approaches, he stumbles upon Sid, who's painting a symbol on Juliana's door before fleeing the scene. Intrigued, Jamie picks up the spray bottle that Sid left to examine it, but is stunned when he sees Juliana changing her clothes by the window. she turns around, and their eyes locked. In fear that she'll assume he's watching her while she's disrobing, he hastily leaves. At the hotel, Jamie immediately went to Sid's room, barging his way in with a threat. He interrogates Sid about his intention to go to the cabin. Feeling defeated that he's been found, Sid lets him inside the room, where a bunch of photographs, documents, and hunting weapons are scattered. Jamie checks these out and becomes curious about what they're about. Sid then informs him that he's a werewolf hunter, and he's on a mission to hunt the vicious beast. In the corner of Jamie's eyes, he finds Bruno's beanie on the table, puzzling him about why it's in Sid's possession. Sid reveals that he found it in the woods next to the cabin, making him think that he might be a fallen prey. Therefore, Sid proceeds to ask Jamie if Bruno lacks experience in lovemaking, noting that werewolves tend to pursue this kind of people during the night of the full moon. Before he continues, he examines Jamie from head to toe and presumes that he's inexperienced too. Jamie promptly dodges the question, feeling weirded out by Sid's remarks. He urges Jamie to stay away from Juliana because he believes that she's a werewolf and the one behind the string of disappearances in town. The following day, Jamie meets Bruno's sarcastic sister, Tiffany, at their house to ask for his friend's whereabouts, but fails to get a valuable answer from her. Meanwhile, Sergeant Rooney and Officer Gilkes stumble upon a bone with huge teeth marks underneath the pier. Officer Gilkes is eager to send the bone to the forensics department to be examined. However, Sergeant Rooney disregards this idea, believing that they'll just get laughed at such a trivial matter. At a cafe, Jamie meets the rest of his friends to express his concern about not receiving any call from Bruno. Unlike him, his friends' attentions are focused on the women they're meeting, so they dismiss his worries. Realizing that neither of them is interested in helping him, Jamie decides to leave, but Alicia halts him and asserts her claim over him. Having no choice, he follows the group to a secluded area for privacy. Not long after, the police spot them drinking in a public place. While Sergeant Rooney reprimands their friends, Jamie and Alicia take it as an opportunity to sneak away. To no avail, the sergeant finds them and orders them to turn around. Both are surprised to be seen, but Alicia decides to save them from the penalty by greeting the sergeant, who happens to be her father. The policeman becomes furious at Jamie after seeing him with his daughter, thinking he's been unfaithful since he saw him with Juliana. Thus, he threatens Jamie not to lay a finger on his beloved daughter. Eventually, Jamie returns to the hotel and runs into Sid, who asks him if he already made love to someone because the next full moon is approaching. Hearing this, Jamie runs back into the cabin in hopes of seeing Juliana, but to his dismay, she isn't home. Without a choice, he leaves her a message, clarifying that he hadn't peeped on her before. A few days later, Juliana meets with Jamie, and he's prepared to be scolded. To his surprise, she's actually expecting him to enter her cabin that day. Jamie is glad at her response but feels the need to explain himself. He reveals to her that Sid claims that he's a werewolf hunter, and he was the one who made the graffiti on her door. Teasingly, Juliana admits that she's aware of this and is only messing with him. Underneath the pier, the two discuss their budding relationship. For Juliana, the relationship could not work due to the demands of her job, making it difficult for the both of them to stay together. All of a sudden, she decides to leave again, and informs Jamie that she'll be back by Saturday. Inside the police department, Officer Gilkes creates a detective board to investigate the cases of missing teens. He tries to piece together information and find a pattern, but Sergeant Rooney shows disinterest. He believes that the missing teens are only exploring life outside of town and will return soon. One day, after returning from meeting his friends, Jamie encounters Caroline, and the woman flirts with him again. Once Saturday arrives, Jamie gets himself ready to meet Juliana at the pier, but he bumps into Sid on his way out. Sensing that Jamie did not take his advice of getting deflowered, Sid snaps, warning him about the danger he's getting himself in. Nevertheless, Jamie dismisses him as his priority is to see Juliana. Upon meeting each other, Jamie kisses Juliana, as he's been longing for her. Above them, the clouds part to reveal the glowing full moon. This catches Juliana's attention, so she withdraws from Jamie's embrace and tells him that she's not like ordinary girls. Before she can even delve deeper into this matter, Alicia appears from behind and tugs Juliana's hair, startling her. Alicia declares that she and Jamie had a prearranged date and were engaged. Feeling betrayed, Juliana proceeds to leave, and Jamie fails to clarify the issue. Back at the police department, Officer Gilkes is determined to find the missing teens. He rummages through the case files and sees photographs of Sid, believing that he is behind the disappearances. Meanwhile, Jamie looks for Juliana in the woods, but Alicia advances toward him and initiates intimacy. Jamie immediately refuses, saying that he's training to be a priest and has taken a vow of chastity. The next day, Jamie heads to Juliana's cabin and tries to explain himself. The woman continues to ignore him, so he impulsively declares his love for her. Sadly for him, she coldly rejects him. He then notices that Juliana is wearing the same clothes from last night, so he asks her where she's been. However, instead of answering, she kicks him out of the room. Just before he leaves, he sees the Rainmouth map on her wall, with different locations boldly encircled in black ink. With his suspicions growing, he runs out of her cabin. He returns home and consults Sid about the reason Juliana isn't interested in him anymore. According to the werewolf hunter, Juliana might assume that he's no longer inexperienced in lovemaking, especially after seeing him with Alicia the night before. Sid further reveals that he saw Juliana 3 months ago in a village in Hungary, where a couple suddenly went missing. He points out that she's the beast, considering that people keep disappearing anywhere she goes, so she must be slain instantly. The same night, Jamie talks to Kevin about this matter. His friend seems skeptical, even making sarcastic remarks about his concern about the werewolf. Kevin reassures Jamie that he'll be safe because he believes that he is no longer inexperienced, not knowing that Jamie was lying to him about it the whole time. When they're about to separate, Kevin's previous date walks past them. Kevin tries to flirt with her, but she ignores him. She continues to walk alone in the dark, leading the werewolf to attack her. On his way home, Jamie meets Sid, and they both stumble upon the girl's broken eyeglasses on the ground. Sid confirms that the beast got her, so he advises Jamie to make love with someone. Taking his advice, Jamie sprints back to their hotel and decides to sleep with Caroline. But to his surprise, he finds her making love with a priest. Having no other options in mind, Jamie enters a club and hires a courtesan to make love with. Unfortunately, the woman takes advantage of his naivety and steals all his money. He tries to chase after her back to the club, but the guard catches him and throws him outside. As he's writhing in pain and wallowing in misery, Alicia approaches him. Thinking he finally has someone willing to make love with him, he greets her enthusiastically and invites her to go out with him. Alicia reveals that she's already engaged with Derek, a man she has just met. However, she finds him boring, so she immediately breaks up with him and walks away with Jamie. Later, at the pier, the pair are about to start their intimacy when Osborne, the police dog, interrupts them. It turns out that Officer Gilkes is patrolling the area, so Alicia urges Jamie to hide. Luckily, the officer is a gullible man, so Alicia easily persuades him with her alibi. Now alone, Jamie is compelled to walk bare, and he bumps into Bruno, who appears out of nowhere. Bruno reveals he went to Amsterdam and couldn't reach anyone because he lost his phone. While chatting, the werewolf appears in front of them and tries to capture Bruno, but he manages to escape by riding in the back of a garbage truck. Meanwhile, Jamie rushes back to the hotel and seeks Sid's assistance. In his room, the two prepare various weapons to use against the werewolf. However, in the middle of this, the police enter and apprehend Sid on suspicion of capturing Gary and Bruno. After Sid is taken away, Jamie heads to Juliana's cabin with a gun in his hand, wanting to punish her. Upon sneaking inside, he's scared at Juliana's sudden appearance, so he threatens to hurt her. Before things escalate, Juliana reveals that she and her family are werewolf hunters. She asks him if Spike is still inexperienced, leading Jamie to wonder if she'll prepare a date for his friend. Contrary to his assumption, Juliana clarifies that she'll volunteer to be intimate with him just to save him from the werewolf. Clouded by his emotions, Jamie brands her as a dirty woman, which insults Juliana, prompting her to slap him. Following this, Jamie receives a phone call from Kevin, who invites him to have fun with them because they have people they can be intimate with. Later, in Kevin's house, the three friends are passionately embracing their respective partners when the werewolf destroys the wooden wall. Terrified, Spike, alongside the three women, runs outside for their safety, leaving Kevin and Jamie to deal with the beast. Thankfully, Jamie manages to shoot it by its shoulder, making it flee the scene. On the other hand, Kevin reveals that the werewolf has scratched his neck, which means he's now infected and will turn into a beast. He instructs Jamie to eliminate him so that he won't become a monster. Jamie, tearing up, blasts Kevin in the head because he is close to transforming. After dealing with his friend, Jamie returns to Juliana's cabin, and he admits to her that he's still inexperienced, so he's the next target of the werewolf. Surprised, Juliana invites him inside so that she can help him deflower. Without wasting any time, the pair embrace each other, leading them to be intimate. Suddenly, Juliana stops in the middle of the deed, telling him to wait as she needs to get something from her room. Jamie becomes suspicious as he sees her shadow grow big above the thick curtains and hears grunts. Alarmed, he grabs his gun and rushes into the room, where he sees Sid, who managed to escape from the police, fighting Juliana. The two argue about Juliana's true identity, but Jamie insists that she isn't the beast, showing that he trusts her. As if on cue, Officer Gilkes arrives at the cabin and instructs them to come out. Just when he's about to apprehend them, the werewolf appears and attacks him from behind. Then, it sniffs Juliana before throwing her through the window. Jamie grabs the gun while Sid tries to hit it with a log, to no avail. The werewolf overpowers him. This time, the werewolf corners Jamie, but he reaches through an arrow above him and stabs the werewolf in the eye. The werewolf screeches in agony and slowly weakens. As it loses its life, it returns to its human form, revealing Sergeant Rooney as the beast. Jamie sees Juliana picking up the gun, and he quickly rushes to her. The pair kisses, but it turns out that it's Juliana's way of bidding him farewell. She informs him that the werewolf infects her, so she instructs him to eliminate her. Lamenting, Jamie grabs her hand and inflicts himself with her claws so they can both turn into a werewolf. Underneath the moonlight, the two passionately make love in their werewolf form.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.